Hello, hello, good morning. It's Monica from Life is Art, and this is the Sunday 10 a.m. technique at the Art and Artists online crop. And sorry for the late start this morning. It's just one of those days, and my camera's crooked, and we're at a weird angle. Let's see if we can fix that up a little bit. Yeah, sorry, it was a late start to the morning, and so we are here now. If you're joining me live, just say hello or howdy, so I know you're here. And if you're watching later on replay, you can say replay. I see Ina is watching. Good morning, good morning. And this morning, you may have seen as you clicked into the video that we're going to be looking at all that in a box of penguins, which might have confused some of you, and some of you might have a little bit of an inkling as to what we're going to be doing, but it could just be a whole great big surprise. And that's the fun thing, is that sometimes with crafting, you can have surprises. So we're going to be looking at a collection that is featured in the September-December mini catalog. And this is obviously still available because it goes till December. So you can, I think I've put up a link, maybe not for this catalog. Anyway, you can look at this entire catalog digitally if you don't have it in your hot little hands. And so we're going to be using the Snowy Scenes collection today. We're going to be using the designer series paper from that collection. And then we're going to be using the Peaceful Seasons stamp set. That's right here, and we've used this a couple times during the crop. I know our crop isn't Christmas themed, but I'm in a Christmassy mood because I got to get a whole lot of Christmas crafting done. And so this is what we're working on. But art is art, right? So we are going to be creating a box card today. In case that name didn't give you the clue when you clicked in. And we're going to be starting out with something that doesn't seem particularly festive in terms of Christmas, and that is a piece of Daffodil Delight cardstock. And this cardstock has been cut to a regular card base size, which is 8.5 by 5.5. And we're going to start out by doing some scoring. Let me just grab my Simply Scored board thingamajiggy. And we're going to start by scoring along the 8.5-inch side. Sorry, I just saw a piece of hair on my shirt and I moved it. Sorry, totally distracted by the piece of hair. And let me just see if I can adjust that light somewhat. Somewhat. Oh, well, as good as it gets. So along the 8.5-inch side, we're going to be scoring in our favorite cheerleader fashion at 2 inches. Oops, we're wandering. I have a tendency to wander. I haven't quite figured out this whole scoreboard thing. I'm used to using a ruler. So in cheerleader fashion, we're going to be doing 2, 4, 6, and 8. Okay? 2, 4, 6, 8. Who do we appreciate? You know the cheer. So there's 4 inches, 6 inches, and 8 inches. Okay, so 2, 4, 6, 8 along the 8.5-inch side. Good morning, Robin. And then we're going to turn it to the 5.5-inch side. And we're going to be scoring along the 5.5-inch side at 2 3/4. But, here's the but. We're only going to score down to this first score line, the 2-inch score line. So there's going to be no scoring done in this bottom 2-inch section, okay? So at 2 3/4, we're going to score through the 1/2-inch section, a 2-inch section, a 2-inch section, a 2-inch section, and then we're going to stop. So this piece is one full length of 2 inches by 5.5, and the other ones are scored part way. Okay? All right. Oops. Now, what we need to do is a little bit of finagling. So it's going to probably be difficult for you to see all my score lines, but trust me, they're there. Let me see if I can get the right angle here so that you can see them. Well, anyway, so we have our full section here. We've got our split, 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 and then our skinny little 1/2 inch one. And what we want to do is we want to fold these with the bump side to the inside. So I'm going to start with my verticals first. This is the dip side that I had facing up. So we're going to fold them to the back so that the bump of the score line is to the inside. Okay. And now we're going to go to the next one. And you do want to just make sure that everything lines up before you crease it down hard. And then we're going to go to the next one. Fold that down. Okay, bump side to the inside, even on the last little 1/2 inch one. Alrighty, so now we've got our big section, our split, 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 and then our little 1/2 inch one. Now we need to do a little bit of cutting, and this might be easier now that we have all these little kinky creases here. So down here, we're going to call this the bottom. Shall we call this the bottom? Yes, we'll call this the bottom. And on the bottom here, in this little 1/2 inch section, this is going to be our tab to close our box card. So what we want to do is at this center score line, we're going to not cut straight on the score line. We're going to angle our scissors down so that we start below the score line and then we come up to meet the intersection between this 1/2 inch score line and the 2 3/4. And then we're going to come from the top and we are going to just trim right off this whole top section. We don't need it. We can save it for something else. If we want to add a little bit of embellishing somewhere, we can. There we go. Got that removed. Okay, so now we look like this. The next step, we're creating a box card. So we need some flaps for our box. So we're going to cut from the top down to the score line, top down to the score line, top down to the score line. So this is on the side where we took that notch out. We're going to turn it right around and we're going to cut from the top down to the score line. Now, if you do not feel confident in your scissor ability, you could use your trimmer for this. If you have a trimmer that's like a blade trimmer where you can stop at a certain length, and then you're just going to trim down to 2 3/4. Okay. My trimmer is a rotary and you cannot measure precise. So for me, my best bet is to use my scissors. All right. So now we have all these flappies at the top, but this one is not scored. So we are not going to do anything with this one, but these other 3, we are going to fold them down. And now you're going to say, well, Monica, you always say fold with the bump side to the inside. Well, in this case, we're not. We're just going to have to live with that conundrum there. So we're going to fold all of these down. These are our box flaps. And this one is not quite lined up. We'll make it a little more lined up. There we go. Okay, so now look at this strange shape we have. We have a tall bit, we have 3 flappies, and then we have a little 1/2 inch tab with a little bit of an angle on it. You can angle the other side if you want. I'm not particularly concerned about it. Okay, we want to add some adhesive to this little 1/2 inch tab, right? We've got our flappies folding out this way. This is the side we want to put some adhesive on. You could use liquid glue for this. I'm going to use my little adhesive tape here. You could use red tape or whatever kind of sturdy, extra sticky tape you have. That one kind of went kind of gnarly because it was right at the end of the roll. I've done my roll. Let me grab a new one. Well, partially used one. Okay, so while we have it laying flat, this is perhaps, no, I'm getting ahead of myself. While we have it laying flat, we're going to take the adhesive off. And I was just trying to do it not the way I've done it before. And you should never do that on live video. You should always just go with the way you've always done it. It's like when you're having company over for dinner, that's not the best time to try out a recipe you just found. Because you never know. It might not turn out the way you want it. And then you'll be disappointed. All right, I've got a little goober of adhesive there, so I'm just going to fold it over. So we have all of our little flaps. Now, what I want to do is I want to fold on this first 2-inch score line. So I'm keeping my adhesive side up. You see what I did there? I just kind of folded it under. Okay, so now my adhesive bit is kind of in the middle. And all I need to do is to take this tall one that's not scored and fold it over, and that will perfectly join them together. There's no by guessing, by gollying. It's just automatically going to crease, and it's going to be in the right spot, and you should be able to fold your card backwards, forwards. You want lots of flexibility with a box card. And then our 3 flaps will fall down like that, and our back will be standing up tall, and that's exactly what we want. Hooray! Gotta love it when that happens. Then what we're going to do is we're going to start decorating by adding some pattern paper, some designer series paper, onto this back portion. And from the snowy scenes, I love this piece of pattern paper that has all the little houses on here. And I think this will be a great piece to have on the back of a box card, because we're going to create a little scene inside this box card. And so I thought by starting out with sort of a little village in the background, that would be a super cute way to start. And yes, I strategically cut this piece of paper. I didn't just lop off the first piece I found. I did strategically cut it so that I would have these 3 little houses and that they would be up near the top, because we're going to put things in here. And so some of these other little houses you're not even going to see. So I wanted to make sure those little cluster of houses were showing. So sometimes you have to be deliberate in how you cut, and sometimes that means you end up with weird little scrappy bits. And that's why I like to give you guys ideas of what to do with your little scrappy bits, because sometimes you end up with extras. All right, so this piece has been cut to 2 inches by 4 inches. We're going to add some adhesive, and you might be wondering why I didn't stick this on before I closed my box. And I wondered the same thing too, and that's why I had that little, oh no, wait, let's do this. And then I thought again. And I will show you here why my brain did that whole little blip. And that's because this is going to go down inside the box like that. It's going to go past the top. And you see our little flap that we adhered in there? If we had put this pattern paper on before we closed up the box, then that little flap would be on top of this pattern paper. But because we're putting the pattern paper on second, as the second step in this process, it's going to hide the little flap a bit. So that's why my, oh wait, oh no, little brain fart went on there. And I realized that I wanted to do it in the order I was supposed to do it. Now, it does make it a little more difficult, because we have to now reach inside and try to line this up, but it's not that hard. It's, you know, there's nothing else going on. We haven't put in our little dividers. So if you've ever made a box card before, you know that there's little dividers that are going to go in here. And it's a lot easier to put that piece in before you put the dividers in. Even though the dividers are part of the main card base, you would think you would want to do those when you put this part together. But by adding that designer series paper in before, just makes life a little easier, because you can reach in, you can adjust, you can do things. Now, my little dividers are going to be a little bit different. And so instead of just cutting 1/2-inch strips and sticking them in, I decided to go with 1-inch strips. And why 1-inch strips, you might ask? Well, that's because I want to do something a little bit decorative with mine. So I have 2 pieces of basic white cardstock, and these are 3 inches by 1 inch. And I'm going to bring back in my Simply Scored board. And we are going to score these at 1/2 inch. So we're going along the 3-inch side. We're going to score at 1/2 inch and then at 2.5. So we're basically making little 1/2 inch tabs on either end. That's as easy as it is. So a 1/2 inch tab over here, and then we're scoring at 2.5 to make a 1/2 inch tab over there. That's it, easy peasy. Now here is where I get a little different, just because I'm a little different, and I'm okay with that. We're going to envision these 1/2 inch tabs don't exist. We're going to flip over so that we have the bump side of the score lines showing. Okay, so we've got our bump side showing. We're going to use the lines on our mat, and we're going to make ourselves with a pencil just a little line at the 1/2 inch mark. Okay, so 1/2 inch up from the bottom of these little inserts. It doesn't matter if it's rough or straight. It doesn't need a ruler. You're never going to see it. It's just for our own help. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create little mountains. So from this 1/2 inch side, I'm going to make a bump that comes all the way up and then comes down. But this is why I use pencil. I want it more over to this side. So we're going to come up and then we're going to come down like a little snow hill. Okay? Nobody's ever going to see it. It's on the back side. And if we're worried, we can erase it. Now on this one, let's make the bump on this side. So we're going to come across, happy, happy, and then we're going to bump up. Make a nice little snow hill over here. Okay? I know it may seem artsy-fartsy, but it's not. It's pretty easy. Then all we're going to do is we're going to take our scissors, we're going to cut that little 1/2 inch tab, and then we're going to come up and we're just going to cut around our little snow bump. It's if you were expecting it would be a baby bump, but this is a snow bump. And this one, we're going to cut our little 1/2 inch tab, and then we're going to come up on our snow bump. And you can make it as slopey or as bunchy as you want. You can even make 2 bumps if you want. If you feel so inclined, where did I put it? I have an eraser. An eraser does exist in my craft room. Well, I have an eraser that's still in a package, apparently. I just used an eraser the other day, and now I have misplaced it. Oh, there it is. It's up on the top. I've got my little spinny organizy thing. It's way up on the top. So if the pencil bothers you, you can erase the pencil. Okay, but it's going to be on the back side. But if you're worried that somebody might get so engrossed in your card that they're going to look in all the directions of your card, then you can erase it. Now that was on the back side, so we're going to fold those little tabs with the bump side to the inside. We probably don't even need our bone folder for that. Okay, and then it's going to stand up like that. And this one we're going to fold with the bump side to the inside. See if we can make it straight. There we go. Bump side to the inside. And there's our other little snow bump. Now you can decide, looking at your thing, which way you want your bumps to go. This sounds so weird. And then we're going to add some adhesive. So on this side that's facing forward, we're going to add adhesive. There's there and there. Look at that. I got like ink or marker or something on the side of my tape roll, and it looks like I spilt coffee or something. It looks coffee stained. It's not. I believe my marker rolled into it one day when I was set it down to grab something, and it like whoop, whoop, drew a little line. Doesn't affect the way that the adhesive works though, so that's good. All right, I think I'm going to put my left bump in first. So I'm going to remove all the adhesive backings. And you might say, all of them? Yes, all of them. Sometimes we do only one side at a time, but we're going to be brave today, and we're going to remove all of them. And just like we did before where we closed our card, that's how we're going to get this lined up. So what we want to do is we want to envision thirds, and this is not going to line up exactly. You're just going to have to do the Baguesse and Bagali method for this. I'm going to fold my left hand flap behind so that the adhesive is on the back side. I'm going to slightly squish my card so it looks like a little diamondy shape. You see that? And then I'm going to take my piece and I'm going to go where this straight part is. Don't worry about the bump. It's going to stick up. And I'm going to envision a third of this panel, and I'm going to stick that down gently. And then I'm going to fold my card even farther. See how my diamond got smaller? And now I can go in and lift up the right-hand side until that little tab is lined up with the top on that side. And then I'm going to squeeze my card shut. It's just a process. That's all. Robin, I'm glad to hear that your crop went well. Awesome, awesome. You got a bunch done and you had fun. Fabulous. You've never made a box card before. Well, this is your opportunity to try. So now if you look, you can see we have that little spacer in there, and it's got a little hill that kind of sticks up above the top of our box. And even when it's folded, you can see that little hill. Okay. All right. Now we're going to take our second one. We're going to do the exact same process again. Take the backings off. If you use this kind of tape, do you ever get frustrated that the backing is just wanting to be static to you? That's why you see me reaching over and touching. I'm touching my table because I find when I've got the backings, I have to like push them down onto my table to get them to come off because they want to be staticky, of course. So we're going to do the same process. We're going to fold this left-handed tab to the back side and just kind of pinch the corner there. Don't put your hand over the whole thing because we don't want to ruin our adhesive. Then we're going to come to our card and we're going to do the slight diamond angle just so we can see the gap here. And it also gives more room for this other tab to get in without sticking to everything. And we're going to now put this halfway in between the front of the card and that first bump. We're going to just gently stick it. Then we're going to squeeze our diamond a little more closed. We're going to lift up this side of the tab, and then we're going to line it up and push it down. Sometimes you just have to be gentle. And there we go. Now we have 2 snow hills, one in each direction, and we're ready to do some more decorating. All right, let's do some quick and easy decorating first. And I have 3 pieces of this lovely Poppy Parade and Pinky plaid. Poppy Parade and Pinky plaid. That's too many P's or first thing in the morning. And these have been cut to 1 7/8 by 2 5/8. And we're going to center them in each of these flappy panels on our box to add some color. And I've already got the adhesive backing on these just to have one part of this process that's a little quicker. And when I cut these, because this is like a same kind of pattern, I did cut a strip that was the 2 5/8, and then I cut 1 1 1 going across so that my patterns kind of line up. Okay. Now you don't necessarily have to do that because they are wrapping around the box. They're going to be on different sides, but I think it just kind of, when you've got something that's a more repeated pattern, it kind of helps. If you have a random pattern, nobody will even notice. But just because that was a plaid and there were certain lines that kind of carried across, I wanted them to kind of carry across so it looked cohesive. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. So we've decorated our little flaps. Now it's time for the fun little bits. And the fun little bits involve, for me, some fussy cutting. You knew that was going to happen, right? And so what we're going to do is from the Snowy Scenes Designer Series paper, we are going to fussy cut some of these penguins because we said this was going to be all that in a box of penguins. So we got to get some penguins in our box. It's kind of like that you're all that in a box of chocolates. This is a box of penguins, and I think that's super chill, super cute. See what I did there? Super chill. All right. I think I've talked about this before while playing with this paper collection, but it makes me think of the movie or the book even, Mr. Popper's Penguins. Did you ever read that or watch the movie? Where he had all the penguins living with him, and I think he lived in a hotel or something. Something was a little different. It's been a while since I read the book and watched the movie. But we're just going to go ahead and leave a little halo. I'm not leaving a big one around our penguins as we fussy cut. We're going to pivot our paper. We're going to use the blade from here to about 2/3 or 3/4 of the way up. We don't usually go up to the point. We save our point for doing dovetailing. That's mainly what that is used for. Or if you're trying to cut out the interior of something, you use that as the little pokey thing to get you into the center. Going around the little pom-pom on his toque. For those of you who are Canadian, we know about the toques, and there's so many cute little penguins on here. Look, we got this little guy. He's got a present. This one's got a scarf. We already did the toque guy. You know what? I've actually already cut out the scarf guy. I did do some stuff ahead of time, but these guys are actually really easy to cut out. Penguins are not a hard shape. So if you want to practice fussy cutting on something that's not a hard shape, go for penguins. All right. Look at his cute little earmuffs. I mean, penguins have to hear somehow. I don't know if their ears are exactly the kind of ears that need earmuffs, because I've never seen a penguin wearing earmuffs, but it looks super cute in here. And for some reason, I think I want one more penguin because 5 sounds good. Now, whether we'll use all the penguins or not, I don't know. But let me see. I've got my pattern paper over here. Let's see if we have another penguin that we haven't used yet. Oh, we do. Can you tell I like fussy cutting these penguins? I don't know what would give it away, but perhaps the fact that my pattern paper looks like it's gone to Swiss cheese. That might be the giveaway. All right, let's get this little guy with the red hat. So cute. Who else likes fussy cutting? Put scissors in the comments if you're a fussy cutter. Scissors all the way. I know it's one of those things you either really like it or you really don't like it. There's very few people who are like, it's all right. Most people are either really for it or really not for it. Oh, Robin's never heard of Mr. Popper's Penguins. It's like it's a kid's book. Most kids would maybe have been exposed to it maybe around like 8 or 9, 10, 11 years old. Robin calls it fussy cussing. My guess is that's not her favorite thing. All right, so let's kind of think about where we want our little penguins. We've got some cuteness happening here. Let me see. We have some fun space back here. I could put one of the penguins right in the background. But the one thing that you can do, even though there's only 2 dividers here, you can actually use, dimensionals. So let me grab, let's put this guy on with adhesive. I'm going to put the adhesive on the front of him, which seems odd, but we're going to stick him behind like he's kind of climbing up this hill. Actually, you know what? Maybe he should be a little farther forward. He's going to be climbing up the front hill. There we go. Because he's going to be down so low, you don't necessarily want him right in the front. Or right in the back, because he'll disappear. The higher up ones need to go in the back. And I'm scanning around trying to find my my dimensionals, and they're like literally sitting right in front of me. And I'm like, my eyes are going back and forth. Where did I put my dimensionals? Right there. Right in front of you. All right, let's add this little guy at the back. We're going to put a little dimensional right at the very bottom and right in front of his feet. And we're going to tuck him back here like that. So cute. So he's just hanging out back there behind his friend. Then let's add, this guy's a little bit taller because he's got a pom-pom. So we're going to add him too. We'll put a little bit of adhesive on the front of him. So he'll be a little bit closer than the one in behind. I probably should have put his adhesive on the front. Yeah. I mean on the back. That's why we have this handy dandy little thing to take the adhesive off when we make the boo-boo. Let's put his adhesive on the back, right at the very bottom. This is the trick with this one, is you're going to have your adhesive right at the very bottom of your things, because if you put it down too low, then your little penguins will all stick to the inside of the box. Like when you close it, it'll all be stuck. So you don't want that. All right, then let's go with our little present-bearing penguin next. And he's going to go in front of this one with a little dimensional. Sometimes you have to look at it to decide where you want your little penguins to go, right? We're going to tuck them down a little bit so that we can see the guys in behind. Oh my gosh, so cute. And then our last guy, are we going to put him back here or up front? It's like a whole parade of penguins. Oh, so cute. I'm almost thinking of putting him back there. What do you think? Should we put him at the back, or we should put him at the front? There are some other things that are going on the front. That's the only thing. We could stick him out here like this, like, whee! Don't forget about me. I think I'm going to put him on the back. That's what I'm going to do. We're going to put a little dimensional on him. And we're going to stick him at the back, and he's going to be kind of hanging out the side. And it's okay to have him hanging out the side, because my plan is to fold my card this way into the box. Well, I could fold this way too. But this way into the box, which is cute, because you can kind of see all these little guys, even when they're folded up. And this is 4 inches wide. So he kind of fits inside that 4 1/4. So you just have to keep that in mind. So there's our little penguins. And then we're going to do a little bit more fussy cutting. We're going to grab one of these snow globes because they're so cute. And this one has little trees and a snowman. So it's just adding to that whole wintry, chilly look. And we're going to just fussy cut around this. And again, this is from the pattern paper, the designer series, Snowy Scenes. I just think these snow globes are so cute. And you could add a little Wink of Stella or something on here to give it a little bit of glittery goodness. But let's add a couple of dimensionals just on the one side here. And Take those off. And you're going to say, why are you only putting dimensionals on one side? Well, let's fold down our card, and what we're going to do is we're going to stick it on so that it kind of overlaps between those two flaps like that. Okay, so when it's standing up, it's got a little bit of stick-outness happening as well. Alrighty, and then let's add our sentiment on here. So I have a piece of basic white that I have cut to almost 3 inches by 3/4 of an inch. And I have the little sentiment from the Peaceful Seasons, which I put down somewhere. Had it in my hand. Oh, it was in the catalog. The Peaceful Season stamp set. It says, a season of wonder and happiness. And I thought that's super cute because penguins are just so wondrous. I think they're awesome, even if they are flightless birds. Boy, they can sure slide around on their bellies, can't they? And they are awesome swimmers. And they're so cute. So we're going to stamp a season of wonder and happiness. And I'm just using my black Memento ink for that. And I think I'm going to dovetail this just to make it a little special. So we're going to snip in the center. Remember I said we reserve the tip of our scissors for dovetailing. And then we're going to come in from each point to the top of that snip. And that creates a nice even dovetail. Again, snip in the center. And then from the point to the top of the snip. Point to the top of the snip. And don't make your dovetails too big. That's always my other hint about this. Now, this sentiment is going to go on here in front of that. So this has already been popped up with dimensionals. So we need to add a little dimensional to the left side and a little adhesive to the right side. So there's a dimensional on the left and some adhesive on the right. And we'll just peel this off. And really, when you look at this card now, there's very little of that untraditional Christmas yellow happening. But when it closes up, if you look at the back side, now, because we stuck out a little bit over here, I don't want to stick out too much on this side. So there is a little bit of a leeway with an envelope, right? They do give you a little bit of leeway, but we're going to keep most of the sticking out happening on this side because that's how I plan on closing it. If you wanted to close it this way, then you could go to the other side, right? You do you. Now, we need a place to write our message. So on the back side of our card, we are going to add a piece of basic white, and this has been cut to 1 7/8 by 5 3/8, and I also want to stamp a sentiment on here. And so I've got friends and family are the true gift of Christmas. And I thought that was kind of cute because one of our snowmen, one of our penguins is carrying a little gift, and it kind of looks like a whole trail of a family. You notice there were 5 of them. Well, there's 5 people in my family, in my house, and so I could kind of say that this is us coming to send you a gift, right? So there we go. I could add a little extra on there. I could stamp some little snowflakes around the edge with the little tiny snowflakes from one of a kind. You know what? We could do that. I could. We certainly could now that we've thought about it. Once you think about it, then you got to do it. Let's grab a couple snowflakes. That's easy peasy, isn't it? And they're such a nice, cute size for on a card. You know what? We're even going to just stick them on the same block. Just like that. And one of the coordinating colors with this collection is Pool Party. And look at that. I just happen to have a little Pool Party stamping spot sitting right here. Now I'm going to stamp off the edge and make a mess. Let me grab one of my scrappy bits of paper. I reuse my scrappy bits all the time. Don't be surprised if there's inky bits on there. And let's just add a little bit of snow to the top. And then we'll maybe add a little bit of snow here down on this side at the bottom. And even though we've added some snow, you can easily, you can write on top of that. That's a nice light color. So there we go. Just because it was sitting right there. In fact, all my stamps are right there. It's not unusual. Alrighty. Let's stick this on the back of our card so we can fold our card down because that makes life easy. And then we can just stick that right on there. There'll be just that tiniest little rim of the yellow showing all the way around. Super cute. Friends and family are the true gift of Christmas. And then we have this fun box card that just pops up and have all those cute little penguins. And you know what? We could add a little bling on there. We certainly could. Let's see what we've got. We could use some of the green from this, or we could use some clear sparkles, or we could use some silver glitter gems. I think we're gonna go with the silver ones. Yep. So let's see. Let's pop it up. Let's add a couple little guys up here. Snow falling in the sky. Like that. And then down here, we can add a little bling there. And a couple in our little snow globe. Remember how I said we could add something to make that just a little sparkly? Well, there we go. We did. All right. So there we have all that in a box of penguins. We started out We started out with our delightful Daffodil Delight and cardstock. We folded, we scored, and then we added some little snowy hills. We did our own drawing for that one. And then, of course, that lovely village in behind. So all the penguins are coming out to see you. Fussy cut from the pattern paper. We've got some beautiful plaid on there, our little snow globe, and our sentiment, a little bit of bling. And then, of course, on the back, we have the spot where we can write our message. Now, some people, when they put these cards in the mail, they fold them up like this, and that really helps to reduce the amount of bulk in one end of your card. And you know how when you go to the post office, they shove it through the little slot? So this might be the way that your card goes. And if this is the case, you may consider adding a little something here, some designer series paper or something, or you can put it in the envelope like this and not worry about the bulk. It's really not bad. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 layers of cardstock, which is not much different from a regular card. And then when it comes out of the envelope, it looks pretty, right? All right. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing this. All that in a box of penguins box card come together. I hope you feel inspired to create one of your own. Hey, Liz, nice to see you're watching. And if you do take a photo of it, pop it in the comments where I post the pictures of my card, and then we can all see and be inspired by what you create as well. All right. Have a wonderful rest of your morning, and we'll be on at 11:30 for Chat and Craft. We'll see you then. Toodaloo. Bye.